very good evening to everyone. I think I had a 1 minute of glory on Dassault Aviation. Dassault Aviation is the parent group company of Dassault Systems, and they are the ones who are making Rafales and the corporate jets, Falcons, and I belong to a company named Dassault Systems. It's a sister organization. We are a separate BU and with a separate P&L. We are the ones who actually provide tool sets and enable global manufacturers to virtualize everything. If I have to use the word virtualize everything, what exactly does it mean? Any product, before it is conceptualized, designed, before it hits the shop floor, has to be thought through on what components it will go through, how would it look like, the functional mock-up of every single thing, and then once you put together everything, will it work in the way it's supposed to be, with the right quality, with no issues as such, and first time right, and reducing the number of prototypes you would possibly need before you make it. And manufacturing is a very expensive affair. And as many of my friends and the previous speakers were talking about, it involves resources, people, and a lot of capacity with regard to the machinery and the equipment which you want to procure, and obviously the real estate and the raw materials to put things together. So historically, manufacturing has been trial and error, till you master the processes to make it first time right as such. In the next 7 minutes, I will try to spend time on, where is the journey towards virtualization of manufacturing going in? How is this relevant to India? And lastly, I will also touch upon the skill sets which is needed, because we have a huge lack of knowledge and people with this sort of skill sets worldwide. I can even assure you, if you are having even 1% of this skill sets in your CV today, you will be hired by the global top Fortune 500 companies tomorrow. So let's move on and understand what am I talking and how is it relevant. I think as we talked enough about India becoming the third largest economy and becoming an innovation hub, manufacturing hub, AI hub, blah, blah, blah. But the most important thing is obviously the GDP is growing. We have some sectors which are really growing as such. But the important point is manufacturing altogether. And how is manufacturing, which is supposed to be contributing 25% of India's GDP? And I'm very happy to see that some of the sectors which is here is exactly as Sir mentioned 10 minutes ago. These are the segments which are really, or the domains, if I may put it, which are really growing in India, wherein we really need skill sets. Whether it is semiconductors, drones and space technology, we saw the need of it in the recent conflict, as well as shipbuilding. I think the speaker in the morning we talked about, we are sitting in an opportunity, once in a lifetime in shipbuilding in India. And and Dassault Systems is very happy to work with Cochin Shipbuilding, Mazgaon Docks, and quite a lot of these shipbuilding companies. And lastly, renewables and green energy. That's another big domain. We are actively working with Mahindra Sustain and contributing to what they're trying to do in India. And lastly, white goods and telecom. You may wonder, why is this linked to skill and manufacturing? That's exactly what I'm going to talk about. Any manufacturing activity starts from product strategy and planning to design to manufacturing finally, and then it hits to the distribution before that particular product goes into the hands of the customer, if it is B2C, and finally B2B, involves conversion of raw materials to the final goods. And that's a lot of effort with people and effort and trial and error. So at Dassault Systems, what we said 20, 30 years ago, working with Toyota, I was fortunate to be in Japan. I worked there for 5 years, understanding the lean and Kanban principles, was if you can virtualize the process of conversion of raw materials to the final goods, do that sort of an analysis virtually. If you really see on the left-hand side, the strategy and the design, and the planning and the scheduling of the activities, and finally the last mile, which is the logistics of either the raw materials hitting the factory or the final goods going into the distributor and to the warehouses and to the customer. When we talk about digitization and data, there are 3 important parameters of digitization, specifically from a manufacturing perspective. Let me take a step back and simplify that for you. When you're making a product, it could be as basic as this product. We talk about virtual twin of product. We analyze the components which goes to it, the plastic or the materials or the steel, and the associated chemistry associated with materials, before we really finally reach a shape where the customer is willing to pay money for a right pricing, is virtual twin of product. You master the product, you need material science, you need chemistry, before we get into the engineering and styling and making it all these things. The second aspect is virtual twin of production systems. Obviously, we can hire consultants and we can get things together and we can buy land and put a factory, but the question is, for the throughput which you are expecting, where are the raw materials has to come from? Is the suppliers right next to your factory, or they have to come from Gujarat or from a port? You need to plan all that stuff. Plus, what happens inside a factory, what we call as manufacturing planning analysis inside the factory, how much percentage of automation you need, how much is the labor you need, what sort of warehouses you need, how much is the metal handling equipment you need. There's a lot of work which goes inside. We can virtualize all of that, and that's what we call as virtual twin of production system. And last but not least is the virtual twin of the supply chain. Supply chain is crucial given what's been happening in the market right now. One morning, one tweet from somebody can change the market overnight. The supplies can change, the trade barriers can hit, and you may not get your raw materials, or you may not be able to ship with 100% more tariff altogether. So how do you analyze the what if? What if one particular port operations is stopped? What if one particular landline is not there altogether? Is there a way you can model this supply chain? So you may wonder, I'm talking a lot of ifs and buts. That's exactly where the virtualization of virtual twin of product, virtual twin of production system, and virtual twin of the supply chain network comes into picture. What we do at Dassault Systems, we help our customers, whether it is OEMs, the small suppliers, or even the smallest of the smallest companies like startups in Bangalore right here, or even as somebody mentioned, a small startup called as Rafe in Delhi, which does drones in India today. Go up from virtual twin of product to be able to design the drone, go up to the virtual twin of production system to be able to establish a manufacturing system to manufacture those drones, and finally have the supply chain of the drones in place so that you're able to cater and scale to the market demands which you have. Long story short, let me run a small video which summarizes whatever I explained right now. Can I get the audio, please?
In a disruptive world driven by experiences, we continue to imagine new horizons and expand our creativity to improve the modern world. With increasing global demand for the planet's precious resources, companies seek ways to operate sustainably without sacrificing competitiveness. At Delmia, we improve real-world experiences through virtual worlds using the Virtual Twin Experience. The Virtual Twin Experience is more than just a static digital twin. It is a dynamic digital model of your resources, products, and value network connected in real time. Real-time data is used to enable visualization, modeling, and simulation of complex products and operations, allowing you to make informed decisions and achieve greater optimization. Actionable data is an important part of the Virtual Twin Experience, enabling planning and execution to help you achieve your business and sustainability goals. With it, you can plan manufacturing facilities and operations to maximize efficiency, profit, as well as safety for your workforce. Leverage model-based engineering for virtual build and optimized process plans to achieve efficiency in everything from manufacturing to transportation. Have complete visibility across all functions and silos so you can make the right decisions to achieve operational excellence. Leverage a collaborative platform with lean operational tools to enable efficient global teamwork and workflows. Gain insights through closed-loop feedback to learn from past experiences and improve future operations. Analyze and simulate demand and supply. Optimize your value network with precision to ensure resiliency to ever-changing challenges. Identify and solve tactical operational challenges and respond with agility to schedule critical resources. Plan for success to ensure efficient warehousing and logistics operations for both inbound and outbound materials and last-mile delivery. By leveraging real-world data, you can direct materials, resources, and labor as needed to ensure flawless execution across global operations. Capitalize on knowledge and best practices shared by others on the cloud to ensure perfect first-time execution. Make every business decision a right one by having full IIoT connectivity between machines, products, and inventory, which allows real-time monitoring. This is a glimpse of the power that the virtual twin experience can deliver for your business. It's more than just a digital twin. It's the connection of the virtual and real worlds that paves the way to resilience and opens the door to greater levels of innovation in your business.
Thank you for your patience. At Dassault Systems, we believe that virtual worlds are very helpful for real life. And while we boast 375,000 customers worldwide, I'm happy to share that we have 25,000 customers in India. And people think that developing world will not use technology, but I can tell you for sure, on the likes of Royal Enfield to Volvo Eicher, every single car you drive on Mahindra today, the styling, I'm happy to say that Mahindra uses Dassault Systems technology, and it's in a public forum, this information altogether. So India is changing, and I think sometimes I even tell that we're even setting new standards in the adoption of technology, and many of my friends in North America and Europe sometimes really wonder how fast you guys go. And I think, honestly, we are stopping ourselves with regard to what are the possibilities for us in India, because the world is the market of what we can possibly do. With that, I would like to thank Jose for my time here, and happy to be here with all of you today and have a wonderful conference. Thank you so much for your time.